Welcome to I Choose Happiness, bite-sized tips and inspirations for busy Muslim women who want to de-stress and feel happy. I'm your coach, Shaymal Abbasi. Welcome back to a new episode. Today I'm going to talk about others' expectations of us and how that can affect us. Many times we find ourselves acting in a way merely because we are afraid of other people's opinions of us. What would they think of us? What would they say about us? It may affect decisions, actions, suppressing emotions just because we want to be seen in a certain way, or that we know the other person wants to see us in a certain way. Most of us have that built in them from childhood. When we were raised by our parents or whoever raised us, we tried to live up to their expectations because that's what we were taught, or I can say most people were taught, that we should behave in a good way, we should be obedient. We looked up to them, so we wanted to be like them, or we wanted to be praised by them. We wanted that attention, and it feels good if you do something good and you are praised or you're rewarded. And if we are not, we may get punished or we may not get what we want. So we learn that we need to act in a certain way, even if sometimes we don't like it. So we grow up and then we become employees, we get married, we have our own families. So this affects our relationships with family members, friends, colleagues, our spouse, our kids, and many times we forget why we are here on earth. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah did not create jinn or human beings except to worship Him. So many times we forget that our life is limited, that we don't know when our time is going to end, and we just act to get to a certain goal. Sometimes the goal is a position, money, marriage, kids, success. So in the end, some people act in ways that may not be beneficial to them internally, let's say, just for them to get to that goal. So they try to please. People pleasing can become a disease, can come in the way of our emotional and psychological well-being just because we want to please others, regardless of who those others are, whether they are parents, colleagues, your boss, your spouse, you name it. It can be anyone. So to stop people pleasing, we need to go back to the roots, find out what is important, what is expected of us here, what do we expect of ourselves. Also, there are things that we cannot cross. So if it's just a personal opinion, personal decision that does not harm myself or anyone, that does not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, then it's fine. If the other person is not pleased and not happy with our decision or our action, it's not our problem. Bruce Lee said, I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to mine. Exactly. Let me give you a very simple example that happens or you can see anywhere, whether you are a parent or not. When you go out and see a child on the floor crying because they wanted a toy or they wanted to buy candy and the parent said no. So some people feel sorry for the parent. And some people say they don't know how to raise their kid, or what a naughty child, or what a loud kid. Oh my God. And the parents, on the other hand, may feel embarrassed. Sometimes parents shout at the kid and tell them, you are embarrassing me, get up, or you're embarrassing us, stop it. Some kids may get spanked. Some people carry them and shout and scream at them or punish them for their behavior. Why did they behave that way? Mostly because they were feeling embarrassed. They felt other people's eyes watching them, judging them. Our fear of judgment can come in the way of us making the right decision. Because what was the right decision in that situation is to let that kid feel the frustration. Of course, there are many layers and many other topics just in those few things that I just mentioned. But I'm just now focusing on our decisions that we made based on our fear of being judged, our fear of other people's expectations of us. So when the kid is crying, we should see the situation for what it is. He's a child who wanted to get something and he did not get it. He is sad. He is angry. He is frustrated. So this is the only way he knows how to express that frustration. Fine. Let him express it. Either I let him understand if he can, if he's old enough to understand, I can take him, I can give him a hug and explain to him that this is not the right time. We can do this later, or I can buy this for you next time. Now is not the right time, whatever. In the end, I communicate with him calmly and let him see that I'm on his side, that I love him. What matters here in this situation is my relationship with my child and my child's emotional well-being. Other people's opinion doesn't matter. Most probably, those people are strangers. Sometimes, if I was in a family gathering, this may happen as well. Family should be even more understanding. If they are not, and they are judgmental, it's not my problem. I should not let that come in the way between me and my child. I don't want this to affect my relationship with my child because this is lasting. But what they think of me or what they think of that situation will not affect me. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "A creature is not to be obeyed when it involves disobedience to the Creator." So as I said before, there are certain lines that should not be crossed. So we should not be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should not be harming ourselves or others. There are cultural norms that are not affecting our faith. So if we are not crossing these lines, and there are things that only are choices, personal choices, or things that are related to the way we parent, for example, or how we choose our lifestyle to be, or our marriage, how we want our marriage to be, other people's opinions don't matter. We should not give them that power over us. This is also embedded in us since childhood, or we embed that in our kids when we tell them, "What would others say about you? Oh my God, if they do something, look what you've done. What would Auntie say about you? Oh, what would your teacher say?" We here install in them the importance of other people's judgments. This is when they understand that it is important for them to pay attention to what other people think of them, not what they think of themselves. Here, the self-esteem is affected because we give more weight, more power to people other than ourselves. Now, there is the respect of our parents, there is the respect of authority and, following the religion's teachings and things like that. But when it comes to just personal opinions, like what I would wear, the movie I want to watch, the color I want to paint my nails, or the flavor of ice cream I'm going to buy, or how I raise my kids, how I deal with a certain situation when my kids cry. And there are many people who tell you what they think. Many of us let that get to us. And out of being nice or kind, we just follow what they instruct us to do or what they tell us to do, even if we don't like it, just because we're being the good person or we're being polite. What matters is our emotional and psychological well-being and our kids if that's involved. So this is it. Expectations, people's judgments can affect our lives, our emotional and psychological well-being in so many different ways. So we should pay attention. We should think before we act. What is more important in that situation? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it because I want to? Is it because it makes me comfortable? Is it because it makes me happy? Or is it because I want to please somebody? Is it because I want someone to love me? Is it because I want someone to accept me in their circle? Is it because I want to be seen as one of the group? I don't want to be seen as a different person. I don't want to be an outsider. I don't want to feel like an alien. What if I am, but I'm not doing anything wrong? It just makes me comfortable. I have different goals. It's impossible to be identical to everybody else. We are unique. Each one of us is unique. That's what makes us special. So please, this takes time. training, patience, and this takes awareness, of course. So if you are not aware of this, from now on, pay attention to your actions, to your feelings, and notice why you are doing what you're doing. And then maybe you'll notice that you'll start changing some of your decisions just because now you understand the driver. And if you notice that it's not worth it, you're going to change your decision. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Join me next time for another topic and another idea. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum.